Hello and welcome back to this tutorial. In this video, I'm excited to start the Tkinter journey with you. And first of all, we are going to import Tkinter. So as you can see, we are not using pip to install Tkinter. So Tkinter is a built-in library. So we are going to write our import statement. So we are going to import Tkinter as tk. All right, and we know what that means already. So the next thing we are going to do is that there is another sub module in the Tkinter module, and that is the ttk module. All right, so we are also going to import that, and we are going to write from Tkinter import ttk. Now you may be asking, why are we importing Tkinter and also in Tkinter importing ttk? Well, this is because initially when Tkinter was introduced, there were some standard widgets that it contained. But over time, Tkinter improved on some of these widgets and enabled some modern styling. So all those widgets that were introduced later with some modern styling are contained in this TTK module. But nevertheless, almost all of these modules in the main Tkinter library. Now, once you start working with Tkinter, the first thing that you're going to do is to initialize an app or initialize the window, right? And how do you do that? Some people like to call it root, some others like to call it windows, some others like to call it app. So I can say that my app is equal to, or my window is equal to, right? Because we are creating graphical user interface and are going to be like a window like this. And also you can say root is equal to. So anything you like you can use, but me, I'm going to use window. I think it's just cool to use it because we are on a computer system. So we are going to initialize it by saying that Windows is equal to tk, that is this tk up here, dot, then capital letter T and K, right? So with this now, we have created a Tkinter instance. And after that, there are other things that you might like to add. So I'm just going to call the main loop method so that I can run this for the first time. So I'm going to say window dot main loop. Okay, and I'm going to run this. Now with this, you can see that a new window has been popped up. You see that this window is resizable to whatever extent that you want it, and that is the work of this main loop. So without this main loop, so if I run this without this main loop, well, nothing is going to show up for us. So the first thing that you do is to initialize your window, then you are going to run the main loop method. And what does this main loop method do? It creates the window and it continues to run until you close the window. And also this main loop updates the window or the graphical interface. So when you add something else to this place, main loop updates it. So, and that is also what makes the user interface resizable. So if I run it again, you can see I can resize this to whatever level. I can minimize it, right? So, and I can increase the size. So that is the work of this main loop. Now you may decide to customize this your window, and as you can see, the title is just TK. right? So if you want to customize this your window, you can do that. So we can add some custom information for this window, and we can say that window dot title, and we pass in a title. So I'm going to call it new Tkinter app, and I can also use the geometry attribute. So I'll say window dot geometry, and in a string format, I'm going to pass in a custom dimension. So I will explain later. So I'm going to say 700 times 400. So you notice that this times, or this x here, is in small letter. So I'm going to run this, and okay, so we had that error. It's like I mistakenly clicked Ctrl C. So I'm going to clear this. So I'm going to remove this and clear my terminal. So I'll run that again just to clarify that error. And as you can see, there is no error. So what this geometry will do for you is that it will give it a custom size. It will give your application a custom size, right? Although it's still resizable, but you can, when it pops, when you run the application, it will come up in a custom size. And the title is what we changed. So instead of having just TK, we now have new Tkinter app. Now, this is how to initialize your Tkinter application. So before we move forward, I'm going to talk about the three major concepts in Tkinter. So if you want to start developing with Tkinter, there are three things that you should take into consideration. First of all, you are going to take into consideration the widgets, and you're going to take into consideration the layouts, and then you're going to take into consideration the styling. So what are widgets? What are layouts? What are styling? So you will agree with me that if you are working with HTML or CSS, you will have to first of all write in the building blocks. You write in the tags. You can say that your div tag, opening and closing div, right? And you pass in whatever you want to be in that div, and whatever you pass in here will be the item that is showing. But this thing will not really look good on the browser until you apply your style. So you can liken your widgets to your HTML code, right? And this helps you create items on this canva, right? So you can place a text here. You can decide to place a text on this canva, place an input field on this canva, place a checkbox on this canva. So these widgets are the commands that allows you place all of these items on the canva. All right. Talking about the layout simply refers to the arrangement of the widgets on the Canva. All right, so if you want to arrange your widgets on the Canva, how do you achieve that? And also, the styling will now enable you to position the widgets very well, and this styling will enable you to give custom style to your widgets and probably give them a nice UI. So right now I am going to pause this video, and I'm going to move on to another video where we are going to start working with Tkinter widgets and layouts. So thank you so much for watching this video, and see you in the next one.